Care about order? Welcome aboard.
Which is the way we'll be taking to see the picture Bronx today. Then over on our left-hand side, just around that point, there's the West Channel that goes around the southern tip of the island. Well, here's the old East Channel Lighthouse, built back in the mid-1800s, just shortly after the Civil War. The last man to run this lighthouse was a man by the name of George Pryor. He lived out here in considerable isolation with his small family. And when I say small family, I mean it was him and his wife and their 12 children. George Pryor last turned on the kerosene lamp back in 1906. That's when it was replaced by range lights in Munising. Well, as I spin the boat around, if you look back towards town, you'll notice a white tower with a red light. That's the front light of the range lights, though now it's a directional light, meaning if the light's red or green, it means that we're off course when going through the channel. If it's white, it means that we're free to pass through the center of it, avoiding either of the sandbars.
See the red light. Red light means we're too far to the right. Green light means we're too far to the left.
Well, the people who own the summer homes on either side of the lighthouse all own a part of it. They're in charge of its upkeep and maintenance. They've done things like replace the siding of the building, built the break wall out in front position. Well, for the most part, the cliffs are made out of 10 different kinds of sandstone, though most people take it for granted. That upper layer, that whitish gray band, that's a Dolomitic sandstone, which is relatively hard rock. Sits on top of that yellowish tan-colored Jacobsville sandstone, which is relatively soft. And it's this combination of a harder rock over a softer one, which allows for Mother Nature to do some pretty fancy sculpting. They also built a pretty nice park up there, complete with barbecue pits, picnic tables, and facilities building. Wouldn't be too surprised to find a Dollar General up there as well. Those things seem to pop up everywhere. Well, to get out here, you just take H58 east out of Munising, follow the road signs for Miners Castle. It'll take you to a parking lot right on top of the cliff. And a few years back, we were actually lucky enough to witness a wedding being performed on the castle. Many of the passengers who did not said it was a beautiful place for a wedding, which I agree, but that's the only marriage I know of that genuinely started off on the rocks. Yeah, my jokes don't get any better. Well, just after the castle, you have Miners Beach. You take the same road that goes out to the castle to get to the beach. Where the beach ends, so does the road. If you want to see any more of the pictured Bronx by land, you're going to have to hike. And hike you can. There's a lakeshore trail that goes from Munising all the way to Grand Marais at the other end of the park. Covers a distance of about 42 miles. Not exactly a day hike. purples you see through here are caused by iron seepage. Blues and greens we'll see further on down are from copper seepage. Black is from manganese seepage. And the white, of course, comes from a seagull seepage. Also has something to do with calcium and lime. Let's say that the Sparta had actually ran itself so far aground, crew members could jump off the boat without getting their feet wet. We're approaching some large caves here. They're known as the caves of all colors. They're a good example of how the wave action carves out the different layers of rock you see through the center of them. Well, in the wintertime when large waves come crashing into these caves, they'll pressurize and shoot out like a cannon. The wind will catch the spray from those waves, throw it back on top of the cliff and freeze, leaving 4 to 5 feet of ice up there. They'll look like little bushes, or actually old stunted trees, stunted by the weight of that ice. And this next point is one of our more popular ones. It's best seen from this specific angle, so it's going to be on both sides of the boat, much like the lighthouse. It'll be on the left-hand side first, right-hand side second.
A lot of color in these rocks here.
Well, if you look down the shoreline, you'll see an archway. That's our Lover's Leap. The cutout of Lover's Leap kind of looks like a heart laying on its side to the water. Just kind of tilt your head to the left, you can see it there. You may recognize Lover's Leap from some of Pure Michigan's advertisement campaigns. It's a fairly popular point for the Pictured Rocks Cliffs. It's on a lot of marketing for the area as well, a lot of billboards and such. Well, despite its name, I wouldn't recommend to jump off of Lover's Leap. I don't care how much you say you're in love.
Away from the deck.
passages that go through here remind some people of the Painted Desert. At least is what they tell me, though I've never seen the Painted Desert. I do understand what they're trying to get at. In fact, that's how Pictured Rocks received its name. It's from people seeing different images or faces on the sides of these cliffs. I've heard people say they see all sorts of things. Flames, trains, barn scenes, famous paintings, famous faces, cartoon characters, different kinds of animals, all sorts of things. I actually had a gentleman a few years ago come up and tell me one of the points up ahead kind of reminded him of the profile of Dwayne Johnson. I looked over there as best I could, but I told him all I could see is a rock. Newest ones came down 2 springs ago. It's also the largest cave-in we've had in the last 100 years. That part used to stick out for about 80 feet or so, kind of arched its way out like the sections you see on either side. And often you would see people walk out towards its edge and wave to us as we would pass. But now it kind of serves as a good reminder, you probably shouldn't get that close to the edge. Well, if you look at this point here, you may be able to pick out the profile of a face. Large point out there's a nose, chin at water level, jawline, left ear hanging off that right-hand side, horizontal line for a mouth, kind of looks like he's got some spinach in his teeth. There's a round cheekbone as well as a yellowish spot for a left eye. Well, with that, you can probably tell why the local Native Americans who once jet skied through here were quite frightened of his presence. Gitche Manitou, they called him, or the Great Spirit. I'll point it out again for those of you on the right-hand side here. Point out there's a nose, chin at water level, jawline, left ear hanging off that right-hand side, horizontal line for a mouth, round cheekbone, and a yellowish spot for left eye. Well, some people say the point kind of resembles the Chicago Blackhawks logo, but I wouldn't really know, because I wouldn't waste my time watching the Chicago Blackhawks. Gitche Manitou stands at about 185 feet high.
You don't see a face? I know. No? Right on the end. See the nose? Now you're going to get it. Oh, beautiful. Here. Here, look at this picture. That's the eye.
And don't worry, this one's not a paid actor. There he is out to our right now. He's up about 40 to 50 feet off the water there. And just in the last 10 years that I've worked here, that rock pile's nearly doubled in size as well as that ceiling height. Well, there used to be a series of caves and caverns that went from Grand Portal all the way out to where the boat is now. Covered an area of about 6 acres. But all of that came crashing down back in 1902. All 6 acres sit below us now. say it looks kind of like the Stanley Cup. The next formations are known as the drums. Kind of look like elephant's feet or bear's legs. Let's see when a 20-foot high wave comes crashing into the mouth of the drums. There's a sound that goes out much like thunder.
Pretty good at that one? Haven't had you yet. That was the first guy.
Oh, you know what? I think I missed my turn back there. That's my bad. This here's Chapel Cove. You folks ever do anything like this before?
No.
Yeah, neither have we. Right now we're at about 15 feet of water. This boat draft's about 4.5. If you get a chance to look over the edge, you can see straight down to the bottom. It's pretty clear. And then about halfway up the cliff on the left-hand side is more of the blue-green copper shading wrapping all the way around the point. Those of you on the right will see it when we spin out of here.
I'm just saying when we turn around, I'm not gonna take pictures. Plus we go to eat out restaurant.
The sand beach is Chapel Beach. Chapel Beach is a favorite overnight camping spot for those backpackers who hike along the Lakeshore Trail. And when they're out here, they feel like they're millions of miles away from everybody. In reality, they're about 3 miles away from the nearest parking lot. There's not enough soil up there for that tree to survive. The only way it gets its water and nutrients are from its roots that are hanging to the mainland. As we pass, you can see those roots hanging off that left-hand side. There used to be a stone archway supporting those roots, but that came crashing down over 65 years ago. The tree lives on. Well, back in 2018, the U.S. Mint decided to run a series of this here is Spray Falls. Spray Falls is the only waterfall along the Pictured Rocks cliffs that runs year-round. In the wintertime, it'll form an ice column all the way around it, but the water will continue to flow through its center. It's quite shallow underneath the waterfall. You could stand up there if you like. It's about 3 or 4 feet deep. Walk right through it and into that cave in that back right corner. Makes a nice private pool area in there. Gets a little deeper. But if you have any questions, feel free to bring them on up to any one of us or stop us in the aisleways where we're walking around. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Now you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
I didn't get the balls in there at all. Oh, yes, yes, yeah, it's good to see you.
It's fun to see the rock from the other side.